welcome back to the channel. Still moving ahead with the Triumph TR6 Trophy 1965 project. I've now just loaded up the bench with the very last bits that I've got in boxes. As you all remember, looking back to how many boxes I had, and in a second I'll show you basically what's left. There isn't a great deal. Today we're going to go back into the gearbox. If you remember, I said before I was actually unsure which position this selector fork had to be in. Haynes doesn't tell you much. Triumph manual doesn't tell you at all, or not that I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong. I've trawled through other videos online of people basically doing the same sort of thing on either TR6 engines or T120 engines. There isn't a great deal of people that have actually done these engines, only 3 or 4 that I've seen. So I trawled through Google, trawled through online last night, just going through everything I could find. And finally I came up with this picture. Which was absolutely brilliant. It kind of explains it. It shows me the actual gear settings of the cam plate. As you saw in the picture, it shows you where first, neutral, second, third and fourth are. Obviously I was unsure if I had it in the right place. But also I found a detailed drawing of the actual gears with the actual numbers of the actual gears of highs, lows, second, third, etc. So I'll show you that now. I'll put a link to the 2 websites that I actually found this information in the description. If it helps anybody, it helped me to actually work out if I actually had the thing in the right place. So we'll have a look at that in a second. It is such a small space in there, it is difficult to see. I've put a light just above, so hopefully, if you can see at the end of my finger, there's the plunger. I've actually rotated this round, so I've got this now in neutral and the plunger is back locked in position. But as I say, it's difficult to show it actually in situ. So again, here's the picture of the actual cam plate positions for basically first, neutral, second, third and fourth, because this is obviously a 4-speed gearbox. So I hope that clarifies. As I say, I'm learning on this as I go, but as I say, it is quite a tight area to work in. So now I've managed to sort out the actual cam plate and got it locked with the plunger in neutral. It's now actually enabled me to work out the position of the actual selector outer fork from the center of the actual main shaft. This top one being the main shaft, this bottom one being the lay shaft. So from the center of this shaft, which comes through this bearing with a ruler across, I've actually put a black mark across the selector and a dot on the actual side of the casing, so I can actually now position that and put it in so it'll be in the right position. But actually going back to the bench, that is it. Obviously we've got the primary cover, that will go on later, well probably one of the last things to do. The other side panel, the last couple of gaskets I need. So obviously there's a gasket, on this cover, So we need to take this off so I can put a fresh one on. We've got the primary gasket still. Coils, I'd imagine they're the actual mounts, the actual engine brackets, which will actually fit around here. And then we've got the foot pegs that come out as well. This is the outer part of the actual gearbox. So once that shaft comes through, you've got a washer, spring, the 2 selectors, tab and a nut. So that's what I want to do today. We've also got the old fuel hose. There's actually new in there. That's the chain. They're the last few bits for the inlet and exhaust rockers. I'll whip the tank off in a second, but I've got bolts to go in, 2, one here, one at the back, one here, one at the back. They're actually in there. Again, like I said in the last episode, I want to clean these up, give the carb a quick clean up. So still plenty left to do. I want to get the points plate in as well. So electronic ignition. So that's all to come, but first I want to focus on actually getting this plate back in position in the right alignment. Get these parts back on, take the gasket off, and then we should be able to get the gear lever kickstart in position. So I'm going to whip the tank off, whip the seat off, raise the bike up, pull it into the centre more, and then we can crack on. But as for boxes, that's all that's left is the plastic tub, which has got spare gaskets in. Basically old parts that have been left in there that have come off. I'm not throwing anything away, that can all go back to the owners. The box full of all the paperwork, and the small box with the specialised tools that you need for this bike. But as I say, that is all that's left. And these few bits on the bench. Right, so now I can get this plate back in position. I just remove the clutch rod for a minute. Alright, it's just starting to go into position. That's gone in nicely. So now with the parts, as I took them off, so I've got the washer in first, then the spring, and the spacer. So now I just need to get a socket and just tap that home. Now for the tab washer. And the nut. So we'll get that nut tightened up and then pull over the tabs. That's the second one done. Alright, so the next job is to strip off this gasket, clean up the surfaces, then we can put the fresh gasket on. Right, so that's all the surface cleaned up. I've just done a light smear of gasket sealant. Get the new gasket nicely in place. There is a locator tab which helps. So now I can get that unit fitted. I'm actually going to clean the surface when it's actually on the bike, it'll be easier. So that's got the kickstart, gear lever and the actual cable. Obviously not forgetting the actual push rod. It's nearly in. Right, that's now finally going. Problem I had was the actual gear lever inside with the half moon cog was actually in the wrong place. I had to rotate it. That is now in. So I've got two screw threads, top and bottom, which I have bolt heads on them. Now I can get the screws in, we can tighten that down. Yeah, so now you've got, I've got so that should be right. So I've just put the first one in place. Now going by what I saw when I was looking online, actually a copper washer, then the washer, and then the nut. And then the screws. Alright, so these two nuts are done up. It's actually the two longest. Fit through. Alright, so we've just got last one. No, that needs to be a long one as well. One thing, that was the position I needed the kickstart in. It was actually there, so I had to turn it to get it into the right position, so when it connects to the cog in the middle and you actually pull the lever down, that will actually move upwards. Right, so I'll work out which engine bracket goes where and we'll fit them in the next episode. We'll move on to getting the points installed. Obviously these cases I'm going to clean up in situ. So we'll move on with a bit more, try and get the carb installed, and we'll take it from there. Right, so thanks for joining me on that one. I say it was nice to actually get this bit installed. I've got one actual screw to find, and like I say, I'll have a look into which way round these brackets go. I'll have a play and see which one fits into line with the actual bolt holes, and we'll continue that on in the next episode. As I said, the information that I showed you at the start of the video, there's a link in the description to the two websites where I found them pictures, and there's numerous parts of information. Really helpful. Found it absolutely brilliant. It helped me, and hopefully it will share and help other people. But it is important to actually get that shaft in the right way, because Haynes, I didn't seem to see anything. I looked through the Triumph manual again and couldn't really see anything of which way round that cam plate needs to be. So again, very handy. I'll also put up the pictures on my Facebook page. There's a link in the description if you want to pop across there, have a look at the pictures there. You can probably copy them from there as well. Any comments in the comments box below. Appreciate all your feedback, all your comments. This has been an absolutely phenomenal build. I've so enjoyed it so far. It's so out of my comfort zone, as I've said many times, but it's piecing together. It is starting to look more and more like a bike, and I can't wait to actually try and kick this over and fire it up for the first time. That will be absolutely amazing. Let's say we've still got a long way to go. There's still lots of stuff to do, lots of cleaning to do, lots of checks to do, going through the front wheel, the front brakes, etc. Make sure everything is clean and correctly fitted and tight. I've still got to do a complete sweep of the engine with all the bolts, nuts, etc. and torque, and make sure that everything is exactly how it should be. There are links to other videos at the end of the video. As always, appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Join me again next time. Cheers. Bye.